Good morning. Welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. I'm your host, Sandra McEllis. I hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful morning. So as I was arising, Spirit was bringing through some messages regarding past life regression. Some of the work that I do in past life regression. And why I call it regression work. Simply regression work. Because many people are very leery of what would be called or what could be misconstrued or what is perceived as a past life. It may take you out of your current belief system. It may be so far-fetched, it's just bizarre. And usually I find things that are bizarre is because people just don't have enough information. So I would like to just bring some of my spin on it and why I do what I do. So past life regression that I call regression work is simply because it's going back in time outside of this moment. It could be last week. It could be last month. It could be years ago. It could be from your childhood. It could be from another lifetime that you are you, but you're in a different era, so you know it can't be in this time frame. So Spirit was showing me a memory of my own self this morning. And I'm walking down a sidewalk on a street, and I'm a very young child, maybe 3, 4 years old. I'm walking with my mother, and I'm holding my mother's hand. And I look up at her. And then I also look around at my surroundings. So I could see a house, I could see someone's yard. I knew that my house was behind me. So that's how I could put it together of how old I was and that it was in this lifetime. And then Spirit began to show me that as I'm walking, I am sensing and feeling certain things, and I'm not sure what it is because it's a fragment of a memory. It's a fragment of a memory. I do not remember walking out a door to a sidewalk. I do not remember what happens after walking on this split moment of being on the sidewalk with my mother. I'm not really super in touch with the feelings at that moment, but I have this memory. So why would I have this memory? So I want to go back into this memory so that I could say, hey, if it's a memory, maybe it's important. Maybe I want to look at it a little bit closer with a microscope. Maybe I want to see, sense, and feel what was going on in my surroundings because it's an opportunity to be a teaching moment, a learning moment. It obviously must be a pivotal moment where it wouldn't be a memory that would come up. So as I'm in this memory of being on the sidewalk with my mother, Spirit shows me that I could be picking up feelings and sensing things that are directly from my mother that aren't resolved, that are being passed on to me. But as a young child, I can't even conceive that psychological notion that my mother could pass on something to me through a look, through a feeling, through her energetic field that perhaps could have a good, bad, or indifference for me moving on in my life. And then Spirit showed me that the atmosphere around me, the environment of the demographics around me changed. And now I was in a different era, but I was still holding a hand of a woman that didn't look like my current mother, but was my current mother. Because in many lives, we come in with different bodies. But our soul, our spirit is the same. The internal component is the same. It's sort of like downloading information from your computer and uploading it to another software system. The hard drive is different, the components, the hardware is different, but the software is the same. So that is what is going on within the physical body. The hardware is different, but the software is the same. So now here I am in another environment with my mother. One that is a little scary for women on the street. So here I go to a current moment of walking with my mother, back to another lifetime in different bodies walking with my mother. And now it is clear to me that during a previous lifetime, my mother was scared for herself as a woman and scared for me as her daughter. And it carried forth into this current lifetime of not feeling good enough, not being safe, not trusting her own environment, was being drizzled over me in my etheric energy body, but also resonating within my DNA because I come from her DNA, and her DNA carries emotion. So in this dialogue with Spirit this morning regarding regression work, it was an opportunity for me to say, the fear stops here. The fear stops here with me. I can't change the dynamics of my mother's DNA, but I can change the dynamics of my own so that I strengthen and fortify and calibrate my own physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, etheric body. So the me, myself, and I are more in tune with the who of me in this isness of this life that I am currently living. Now, how powerful is that? Now, I just know from actually taking leaps of faith many years ago and getting my own past life regression, because I didn't know anything about it, but I was so intrigued that I had to go for a session. So well over 2 decades ago, I went for my first session. And it was so profound that I continued with different practitioners through the years, and I just had to bring it to people in my own practice. And the beauty of it is you don't have to be laying on my table. You can do it by Zoom. But my point of saying all this is that because I've done it enough times, I can literally go into my own self and rewind fragments and little videos and frames within and pictures within self that is in my storage unit, and I can go through them slide by slide and either zoom in with a microscope and see more and make adjustments accordingly, or I can bypass them and go back to them another time. But it helps me sort through who I am. So we can call it past life regression. We can name it different studies of past life regression. It is what it is. It's just different avenues to help you get there. I work with breath work, with energy work. I work with, the people that come to me have a trust. And I'm going to tell you, going back through these storage bins of unknownness, it's like going through the attic or the basement, opening up boxes, and you forget what was packed in there. And sometimes you find treasures, sometimes you find junk, sometimes you just find things that are destroyed and just need to be removed. You're doing that within your inner self through your own memory banks, your own Akashic records, your own reserves, your own storage units. You're sifting and siphoning through them and deciding which ones stay, which ones go, and which ones you might look at next to help you be a better person in this now moment. Because every single solitary time I've had this done with myself or with others, clients, it may go all over the place during the session, but without fail, at the end of the session, it brings it back into the present moment. That helps to open and broaden the perception and the peripheral of who you are and how to resolve something in the now. So it's like these big aha, small and big, and what may build upon that in the next couple weeks after the session. And it's extremely powerful because we are all fragmented people. How many people can really go back to pick a time or someone's talking about something, you're like, I don't know that I remember that. Oh yeah, kind of remember a little bit about that. But you don't remember all the details, and perhaps you forgot a very important detail of it that may have been a pivotal moment of change for you at that time, but you just forgot about it. So we are all fragments of ourselves because we can't hold everything in the conscious brain. It's all in the subconscious. It's your storage unit. And quite frankly, these storage units all need to be emptied. It's time. It's time. It's wearing you out physically and emotionally and mentally. It can't store it in there. And most people are not sleeping enough so that their limbic system can also help them sort during sleep time. So we need sessions like this to just help us clean out things that we don't realize are webbed and distorting the flow of energy within our avatar. And please remember that this avatar is the only ride you have in this lifetime. It's the only vehicle you're going to get. It's not like something that can be replaced. This is it. This is who you are. So let's be the best that we can be, and let's explore. And let's have this adventure and dig a little bit deeper to find out some of the authentic chords that maybe we've been missing because they've been buried, because there is lack of understanding of what it is, so we dismiss a very big part and parts of who we are. And so moving forward, we're in this time right now where we just got to get rid of the abundant amount of junk that we have collected just in this lifetime, much less any other. But as I said, everything that you've gone through before brings you right back to this present moment. Whew! Breathe on that, my friends. Breathe on that. So I hope that this found information rings like a chord within you that may say, wow, I think I'd like to know more about that. And if you do, embodimentofthesoul.com, embodimentofthesoul.com. You can email me, we can discuss it, and we can get you less fragmented and more in your solid, dense physical core so that you can tap into that innate God spark of all that you are as a source creator, walking this planet, this earth, as the physical person that you are. For example, me, Sandra McGellis. So Sandra McGellis wants to be the best and the most complete and intact Sandra McEllis she can be. Because then I'm a walking, living example of a more grounded self, more peace, bringing in more joy and happiness around others, and not carrying on any more junk DNA to be passed on to anyone else in my presence, and to eliminate that within myself, which eliminates it within my generations. So let it start with me. Let it start with you. You know, there's a saying like, what is it? You've got to take the steps for the 1,000-mile journey or something like that. Well, you know what? Every day is a new step. Every day is a do-over. Every day is an opportunity to make change. And then how many days do we start out with it? And then at the end of the day, we wind up realizing we kind of repeated yesterday. And so it takes due diligence, and it takes commitment to want to be more and to be consistent and deliberate with each step that we take on the journey of life that we're living in this current moment. So we're creating a more vibrant current moving forward, because our energy is way out there. And so we're literally creating our path beyond our physical. So what would you like to create, my friends? What would you like to create? I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment, ask me a question. I will do my very best to respond. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for tuning in to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. And I will see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.